seem to have permanently. Angus, you seem to permanently have been on the road the last period of time. Is going to be a good factor for the game to be at home again?
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, away. Travelling overseas was probably a tiring experience, and the past 2 rounds travelling down to Canberra and Sydney. But I think it's good to be back at Suncorp. Last time we played there, we played pretty well, so hopefully we can, return to that form.
Mate, you made your mark when you guys were overseas and spent a bit of time, a week or 2 out of the team. Now that you're back in, you must be pretty excited to be back in the starting 15.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to be back starting. I got a shot against the Jaguars overseas, which is heaps of fun. Now it's a different experience playing at home, so hopefully we can do it in front of the home crowd.
It's a bit of news today that Lucan's going to be out for a while with a knee op. It's pretty disappointing for the team. Yeah,
it's disappointing for the team and for him. He's been playing pretty good footy as well, and he's obviously just come back from that suspension, trying to get back in the team. He's done that, so I feel for him. We've got a lot of depth in our back row especially, so hopefully we can cover, for that loss.
On depth, it's a pretty good guy to have on the bench in George Smith. It's going to be a pretty valuable addition to have him coming on in the second half.
Yeah, he brings so much experience to the game. Just talking to him around training, he has a lot of knowledge in those areas, so hopefully he gets on there and shows us what he's made of.
What's it been to the group, mate, to have an old experienced head like that inject himself in at this stage of the season?
Yeah, it should be good. There's a lot of youth in the team, so hopefully having a guy like that kind of steer the ship a bit. Guys like Higgins and Slippy have also been assuming those roles, helping out the young guys to do their jobs.
What's the key, do you think, in the games at the moment? There's talk that perhaps the attack's not as fluid as it needs to be. Where do you think the areas of improvement are to come?
I think particularly in the back half of the game there, we're kind of switching off an attack. Our attack structure, it's not too complex, but as long as we do it right, it should produce tries. So I think there's a lot of drop ball as well. That's obviously not helping our attack, so if we can rectify those issues, I think we'll be scoring tries this weekend, hopefully.
Wade Cooper, you think the coach is keeping an eye on him?
Oh, it's up to the coach, to decide who he wants in the team. As players, we kind of just got to do what we can with the people we have, and I think we've been going pretty well.
In terms of the attack, you've identified there that perhaps people switch off a little bit. What cues has Thorny given you this week to sort of sustain the rage a bit more?
Thorny's been saying that if you hold the ball, you control the game. I think that's a big notion we're going to try and implement over the coming weeks, because we have been dropping the ball quite a bit, and that obviously doesn't help your attack. So that's our main goal this week: just hold on to the ball, keep working those phases, and hopefully we break through at some point.
You're up against the Kiwi team this week. No one needs reminding that if you drop a ball there, they'll score from 50 metres out.
Yeah.
So how is it different playing against the Kiwi team?
For us, nothing really changes. We just want to compete, at every avenue. To scrum or, line out, we want to get up in their faces. Obviously, there is a notion that New Zealand teams, have been beating the Australian teams quite regularly. So we'll try our hardest this weekend, and we'll try and show what we're made of.
Just on that, is playing a territory game even more important, because the Chiefs are such a good counter-attacking side? Give them any loose ball, they're going to punish you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try and use our kicks efficiently. Try and keep them in the corners there. Try and dominate in that aspect of the game.
Izzy Breeze didn't get much footy on the weekend, but he's someone who can sort of match it with the Kiwis. Is that getting the ball in his hands a bigger objective for Saturday?
Yeah, well, I've played with Breezy for quite a while now, so I know what he's capable of. He's a bit of a weapon with the ball in hand, so hopefully we can get him into a bit of space this weekend. Yeah.
Is there a little bit of urgency around where you sit now in the conference? Is it time to sort of start to look at, we've got to make our move now?
Yeah, we have to start getting those wins, especially against Australian opposition, because they're pretty crucial games. I think the next 2 games will be a big moment throughout our season. We've got the Chiefs this weekend, the Lions next weekend, both very tough opposition. So if we can go well against those teams, I think it bodes well for the rest of the season. So the next 2 games are the game this weekend is our primary focus, but the next 2 weeks before our next bye are obviously very critical.
Angus, for a very contemporary player who's only been around for moments, what is playing in the 1,000 game for Queensland mean, and with a bit of family background, I suppose? Does it mean anything, or how do you process it yourself?
I think it's pretty cool. It kind of shows the history of Queensland sport. For Game of Rugby Union to have had 1,000 games, I think that's pretty special. And I know a few old heads will be out there this weekend. I'm sure my man will be watching in the crowd. So it'll be important for them that we play well this weekend to uphold the legacy of Queensland rugby. So hopefully we can do a good job this weekend to commemorate that event.
How old is Sam's head looking these days?
He's pretty old, so he's 30 years older than me, so he's turning 51 this year. It's not too old, but he's still looking in shape, so that's all right.
What has been his take on your first few games as a Red? Has he been impressed? What's his
No, he's pretty proud. I don't really talk too much with him about footy because I don't want to get, he gets emotional and stuff. So, no, he's been pretty proud and he's always been encouraging, so that's good.
When was the first inkling you can remember in your childhood of seeing a Queensland jersey or seeing Sam sort of fired up about Queensland?
Mate, you just have to turn on the telly and watch a game with him to know that he's pretty passionate about the sport. But my first exposure to Queensland footy he'd always put me in a Queensland jersey when I was younger. I would have Queensland jumpers around the place and I'd always wear them. It's probably my first exposure, and yeah, watching footy with him is always pretty interesting.
With this game, I mean, you've been given not just a chance earlier in the season, like to be recalled into the side. Like Thorny obviously thinks you've got something. What do you personally want to add to the side with your strengths?
Well, personally, I always try to bring an edge of physicality. I kind of base my game around that, so hopefully I can bring that this weekend. Obviously with Thorny, I've been working on my individual skills with line-outs, scrummaging as well on the flank there. I just want to bring, trying to bring a complete package. I'm not there yet, but if I can keep working on that, I think I'll be in good stead in the future.
You're obviously a very different player to George, but he's in the back row. So has he given you and Liam and the other back rows in the squad any sort of words of wisdom? Like he took a couple of breakdown tutorials last year. Has that been something that you?
Yeah, no. After training, he takes breakdown tutorials a lot with Liam. He's a big fan of that. I sometimes put my hand up and jump in that, but he's just got little bits of knowledge that you just wouldn't pick that he's discovered over his long career. So he kind of shares that knowledge whenever it arises. It's literally in every aspect of the game. So he helps out in most regards, really.
He's particularly valuable for Liam because it's like Liam's sort of mould is similar to what George is. Does Liam taken great strides in your eyes since being around George? Yeah,
I think his puffing technique's improved greatly. There's a lot of drills that George does after training that specifically focus on that, and I think he's been doing those well.
Sweet. Thanks, guys. Awesome.
All good.